Hey there guys, what's going on? How are you doing? This is Wigo speaking, and today we're going to go over some terms and phrases that you see every single day in Dead by Daylight. Now, these terms, most of them are considered toxic or just wrong to do. Many people every single day tell you that you shouldn't do these actions and the terms and phrases. But I'm going to go over them, explain them first, tell you what they're about and what are they actually, and if they are actually toxic or not. But before even I start, I just wanted to say that it's just a game after all. You can't just tell people how to play. If it's in the game and it's not cheating, it should be fine. Just do it. And if it bothers you that people just tell you not to do, just hit continue after the end game chat. Just leave. But anyways, without further ado, let's jump right into the video.
Over habits of my heart, I can't say no. It's ripping me apart.
Now, the first term that we got here is gen rushing. Now, what does this mean actually? We all know about the speed of gens and how they pop super duper fast, and how a game can just easily get out of hands. It's just wrong sometimes, but let me tell you what the community calls gen rushing. First of all, gen rushing, even if it's bad for survivors, and I tell you why. Gen rushing is basically doing the gens as fast as you possibly can and just finish the game real quick. Now, this hurts a couple of killers like Trapper and maybe Hag at some points, Shape. Killers who are slow and need some momentum before they can actually snowball and win the game. Now, this might cause an frustration effect on the killer's mind that they have already lost 4 gens and they only have 2 hooks. This doesn't look good for them. So people came up with the expression or the term gen rushing, which means that you are such a toxic person that you do gens efficiently and just finish the game right off the bat. Now, is this bad? Obviously not. This is the survivor's objective. They can do other things. They can do totems, they can open chests, they can heal each other, they can do a lot of things. But mainly the objective and the right thing to do, the smart thing to do, is to just do the gens. But why did I say that gen rushing is sometimes bad for survivors? Now, gen rushing, as I said, means to do gens as fast as you possibly can. Sometimes this means that you just see any gen and then just hop on it. Then, as you know, most of the maps gens are like this. It's like spread out throughout the map. Now, if you do these gens that are in the picture, and then you will be left in a 3-gen scenario. The last 3 gens are going to be super duper close to each other, and it will hurt you quite a lot. Now, this is really bad for you. And this is why I said gen rushing is bad. Imagine you spawn on the other side of the map. You see a gen, you easily do it. Then you see another gen. It's really close. You don't have 1, 2. You have 1, 2. Go ahead, just keep doing gens. You have done 4 gens, and all of them were on one side of the map. Now, other side of the map has 3 gens in it, and the killer has been there for a while. And if they're a setup killer, you're super fucked. If they're not a setup killer, they still might have something going on for them. Maybe their perks and stuff that are still in the game, like I don't know, Devour Hope is coming right up, stuff like that. You will be in a bad spot. So as I said, gen rushing can be bad for survivors, and survivors should keep an eye on it. But for the killers, they should apply pressure and stop survivors from doing gens. Overall, gen rushing is not a toxic thing. I think at some point the developers should consider changing the speed of generators, because sometimes they just seem wrong, but that's not the issue here right now. And that's about it for gen rushing. Now, the next thing is farming. Now, farming is sometimes good and sometimes horrible, in my opinion. When is it good? What does farming mean for beginning? It has two meanings. First of all, sometimes the killers they just don't want to rank up. Maybe they having a bad day. They just want to farm and get some blood points. Maybe they have a very hard challenge. I have done it before when I was like in 100, 200 hours. I still can play hillbilly, but I don't have challenges anymore. I used to have some hillbilly challenges, and I was horrible in hillbilly. And there was one challenge that was really hard. And I remember I went in a game. I showed that I'm friendly with the survivors. I did the challenge, and then I let them do the gens, and we dropped some pallets, broke them, just leave the game, got some blood points, and that's it. That was fine, and it's okay because everybody's happy. Okay, everybody wants to gather blood points. Maybe they have some challenges as well, and I'm helping them do it. It will be all right. Okay, as long as everybody's in it and everybody's okay, it's completely fine. But there is one more kind of farming which is horrible in my opinion. It ruins the game experience quite a lot, which is unhooking a survivor in front of the killer without having borrowed time or even taking a protection hit. This is basically farming because you are gaining the blood point of unhooking the survivor, but you don't do shit about it. And that's horrible. I believe that's toxic. I've seen survivors who do it so that that survivor gets eliminated faster. I've seen survivors do it. So that's kind of toxic. That's not okay, in my opinion. Probably the whole list that we got here, this one is the first one that is actually toxic at some point. If you want to unhook a survivor in front of the killer, please run borrow time. I know at some point maybe there is only two survivors, your friend is on a hook and you are the other one and you have to unhook them, you have no other choice. You can still take protection hit, you can swap hook. This might give you a chance. But for the most part, don't just do it. It doesn't seem right. Now, the next up is the infamous camping strategy. Now, what is camping? Why do you get called a camper like 9 times out of 10? And what is wrong with it? We have a couple of different kinds of camping. The first one is face camping. This one, in my opinion, is kind of a hater kind of move, but it's still in the game, it's okay. And we all know why this happens. At some point, when you play as a survivor real nice and the killer just doesn't leave you, you're in a good chase, you have run them for like a minute right now and it's good, looking good. Two gens have already popped, you know one more is lined up to be popped, and you haven't even been hit yet. Okay, and the killer is in a very bad spot. So at this point, killer just have to leave you, but they just don't. Okay, some killers they just think that they don't have the luxury to just leave you. They have to chase you out. This is usually their undoing, and they only usually lose the game over it. And then by the time they catch you, 4 gens have already popped. Sometimes it's been 5. And then they get so annoyed with the fact that you have looped them for quite a while, and they go like, okay, this guy is so toxic, I have to face camp them. This has happened to me quite a lot, and it's okay. That guy is very frustrated with the game and everything that is going on, and he's just angry. He's just trying to, release the pressure. And I know sometimes you saw it coming. When you do really well and you annoy them quite a lot, you give them 6 pallet stuns, 1 DS, 2 flashy saves, stuff like that, and you get some face camps. And I'm not saying it's okay, but it happens, and you know why is it happening. Sometimes I even feel good. I'm like, okay, I've done so good that this guy is going to face camping. It's alright, it's just a game. You just go to the next match. If you get hooked very fast, and then you get face camped, yeah, that's kind of fucked up. But still, there's nothing against it. There's nothing they can do. And actually, there is a punishment for them because they're not getting as much as hook that they want, and they're gaining less blood points. So it's completely alright. They're getting punished for what they're doing. At this point, you only should do gens, nothing else. Don't be altruistic. Don't go on a saving private Ryan kind of shit session. Just sit on the gens and finish them as fast as you possibly can. Okay, don't mind my bird. And there is another kind of fake camping, which is called proxy camping, which means that you start to walk around the place that has a hook survivor in it, and you're looking for other survivors because you know somebody's going to come on hook and for the save. And that's, in my opinion, is completely alright because it's your choice. You choose to not patrol gens and stick around, and maybe there is a gen in the area. I had some games that I had a 70% gen next to me and a hook, so I'm not leaving. There are two important things to me that are here. I'm not leaving this place. And survivors called me camper. Of course, I'm not gonna leave. This is a perfect spot for me. I have a lot of things going on here, so I'm not leaving. And there is another camp situation that is completely alright, and survivors more often than not accuse it of being a toxic move, which is in the endgame collapse. Let me tell you something. If you get hooked in the endgame collapse, you're pretty much fucked because there is nothing for the killer to patrol. There's no gens, there's only exit gates, and sometimes the exit gates are so far and the killer just said, okay, just gonna sit here. They bring out their marshmallows and sit right there. And that's completely alright. Completely. Don't call a person camper just because they sit there after there's no objective for them to just patrol. Because first of all, they want hooks. They want to gather more hooks as much as you did all the gens. They just want hooks. They want to swap hooks if possible, or if not, they just want to secure the one hook, the one kill that they have. But overall, camping is really, really controversial. I think it's completely alright because it's in the game. There's nothing you can do about it. There are some punishments for it as well, so it makes it completely alright. And I think it evens the bad parts out. But it's your call still. The next up is tunneling. Now, tunneling, I don't know why is this a bad thing. Let me give you an example of what tunneling is in a survivor world. You have 7 gens in a match, and then you do one of them 70%, and you do one of them 20%, and the other one is 0. Which one do you hop on? Let's be honest. You don't say, okay, let's give this killer a good match. Let's go for the 0%. Yo, you won't. You will go for the 70% because that's the smart thing to do. You have to go for the 70% and finish it as fast as you can because you want to play efficiently so that you can win. At some point, when a killer is playing, they want to eliminate a survivor very, very quickly from the game. They want them out of the match. So the right thing to do, if you want to win as a killer consistently, you have to hook a survivor, go for another one, then come back for the first survivor, they go for the second survivor, and then eliminate the first survivor. This is the perfect thing to do because more often than not, when you do this, there has only been 3 gens popped and 1 survivor is out of the game. Now, this is looking good for you. This is looking good for you. And you still have 1 more survivor dead on hook, which means that survivor is under a lot of pressure. And the other 2 haven't been hooked at all, but still, somebody has to go for the unhook, and the other survivor is under pressure, and it's looking good for you, basically. Why is tunneling bad? First of all, it eliminates a survivor real quick out of the game. Maybe you go into the game, you only play for 4 minutes, and then you get tunneled. You go to the next match, you get tunneled. Yeah, I see the point. But let's be real. That guy wants to win. There's nothing you can do about it. It's so completely alright. It's his choice. He can't just choose to tunnel you out of the game and win. That's completely alright. There are some points that a killer just wants 1 survivor for some weird reason. I've seen people who tunneled me after a shitty chase. Like, my chase was 6 seconds, and then I got hooked, and then I got unhooked, and the killer was just, okay, I want this guy. I want to kill him. Even if I did nothing wrong, sometimes I say, okay, I'm doing something toxic in his opinion, but this was just dumb. So I get tunneled out of the game. In these scenarios, usually survivors get super duper altruistic. They want to body block and do everything they can. This is not a good idea. As much as you can, you have to put pressure on the killer and just do the gens. That's the smart thing to do at all times, all possible times. But keep this in mind as well. that if a killer only pressures one survivor, um, it's not good for them. If they just keep hooking just one survivor and just kill that survivor out of the game, if you have done enough gens, look at it this way. It's like starting a game with only one gen to do, but with 3 survivors against a killer, probably who has lost a couple of perks. Like, I don't know, maybe a hex. So this does not look good for them. If you see a killer just wants to kill that Dwight in your team and the others haven't been even injured, you will win this game if you just let the killer do what he's doing. But if you want to go super altruistic and just, this guy's tunneling my friend, I have to stop him. It's just a game. It just doesn't matter. Sometimes you get tunneled, sometimes you don't. And I know sometimes you have deliverance, you wanted to use your perks, sometimes you had other perks that you wanted to use, and just gets fucked. I know it's kind of frustrating, but it's just something in the game, and it's killer's choice to kill who. And sometimes they don't even succeed. Sometimes survivors play so good. Sometimes they choose the wrong survivor to tunnel, and they just get so punished. But overall, I get the idea, but you have to admit that if a killer just focus 2 survivors, it's completely alright. But if they just focus 1 survivor, it's kind of a hater move. But still, it's in the game and it's completely alright in my opinion. Now the next up is slugging. Now this one, I have no idea why it's a bad thing in the game. And there is everything in DBD. There are a lot of things that are just double standards. Just like tunneling, as I said, when you have a good gen with some good progress, you will go for that gen. And as a killer, as a survivor, when you have good pressure on the killer, you sustain that pressure, okay? Like, you just keep it on the survivor so that they just can't recover from it. So at some point, survivors have a lot of pressure on the killer, like they haven't been hooked at all. They only got 1 hook, and the other survivor who's in the chase has deliverance DS, so they're going to mess with the killer quite a lot. And they have a lot of pressure on the killer. Just tap gens quickly as possible, and the killer is in a very, very bad spot. Very, very bad spot. So basically, survivors won't go like, okay, I'm gonna leave this gen so that we have a better match. No. As a killer, sometimes you see the opportunity right for some slugging, which means to down a survivor but not pick them up. Now, this is a complete gamble because more often than not, survivors have unbreakable and they just get up. But if they don't, you might have a chance to just finish the game right off the bat. And there are some killers. Oh my god, what happened to my voice? There are some killers who are just wonderful in slugging. I don't know, like Huntress, Plague. Plague is just downright amazing for slugging. Oni is just basically in his base kit to slug. And the point for survivors who call you a slug move and just very, very toxic shit, something like that, is that they can't do anything well to slug. They have one of 2 choices. First, have unbreakable to get up. Second, just sit there and wait for something to happen, which doesn't happen quite a lot. But it's completely alright. Killer wants some pressure, they apply it. Imagine this. Even if there are 4 survivors in the game and you down one and you see another one and you go for that person, you force another survivor to get up from a gen and come for that survivor and pick them up, probably will heal them as well. You have bought yourself a lot of time and 1 hook at the end of the day. It's perfect for you. And it's completely alright. I don't get it. Why is downing people a toxic thing and not just pick them up? And sometimes it's just funny. Sometimes you down a survivor and you know somebody has a flashlight and you know they are hiding around somewhere. So you just don't pick that person up and then they call you a slugging person. I don't get that. Survivors just... sometimes they just get super toxic and they just don't think straight. But overall, slugging is completely fine in my opinion, actually. Okay, so last but not the least, body blocking. Now this shouldn't be actually in the list, but it is. Body blocking happens in different scenarios. First, the killer body blocks you from a window, from a pallet sometimes. It sometimes might frustrate you. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. It hasn't happened to me. Sometimes they body block you out of the basement, which some people don't find pleasant. But it usually happens from the survivor side. Sometimes you want to tunnel a guy and the survivors body block you. Sometimes you want to catch a person, which is the last person, and they just unhook you in your face, and then all of them start to go on a escort session, and they just don't let you catch that guy. And sometimes you want to hook a survivor, and then they just line up under that hook and won't let you. Since they're faster than you, unless you have agitation, they're faster than you when you are carrying a survivor. They usually can just mess up with your hitbox and just be really, really annoying. Now, keep a couple of things in mind. First of all, you don't always have to carry a survivor to a hook. If you see a lot of survivors lined up under that hook, just drop that guy. He will gain 50-20% of wiggle. And 15, I thought I said 15-20% of wiggle, which is completely alright. If that person is close to a hook, you will still get the unhook, the hook, unless they have flip-flop, then you're in some trouble. You don't have to carry a survivor to a hook. It's not an obligation. You just can drop them, chase another guy, maybe hook that guy, and then just go back. And sometimes you can just hit one of them and then do the hook action. Keep in mind that if you hit a survivor, you will lose collision with that survivor for 5 seconds. So this means that you just can easily hit that guy and then hook. Sometimes I see killers hit a survivor who is under the hook, and that survivor just sits there hoping that the guy doesn't know about it, and they just try to hit that guy again. You don't have to. Just hook the survivor and just go for that guy. He's in a bad spot right now. He doesn't have a boost speed anymore. He's injured. And there are not a lot of things going on for him. This happens a lot, especially if survivors have saboteur or, I don't know, breakouts, and maybe middle of man. They want some prediction hits. We're gonna live forever. This happens a lot, and it's okay. You shouldn't get so frustrated with it. But I see the annoying part that you just can't move properly, but it should be completely alright. I wanted to put teabagging in the list, but I just thought it's so stupid. Teabagging happens a lot in DBD, and it sometimes can be really annoying, but let's face it, it's in every game. It's really annoying. The weird part is that the survivors, the developers have updated the speed, and they fasten it actually. They increase the speed of sitting up and sitting and getting up, so they can teabag faster. That's weird to me. It's like they want us to teabag. But anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and I hope these helped you to understand the game terms a little bit better. And if you liked it, for future videos, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, a comment, and turn on that ringing thing. It really helps me out to make content like this. And have a nice one, everyone.